Now here what you can see is I'm actually making a capacitor. Now let me show you this if I can. This is a little bit delicate, but what I've taken, if I can just get it in the focus for you, is I've taken a piece of 20mm conduit and a piece of 25mm conduit. I've then taken some of this Velcro type tape, actually put it around there to make a sort of like a nylon type bearing, and then I've stuck the slug tape on the actual one surface and I've stuck slug tape on the other surface. They create the two parts of the capacitor. When you rotate this, okay, at that point it's about 5.4 picofarad. When you rotate it back the other way and they're fully engaged, that's about 21 picofarad. Yeah, there you go. So you can see that. It's 21.1 picofarad. Okay. This is part 2 to the 40-meter frame antenna. This is going to be 1200 millimeters square, basically. Very small, very compact for a 40-meter antenna. I've just had a bit of a sudden realization I may not have enough wire. You're going to need quite a lot of wire when I did the calculations, so I might have to go out and purchase some, but it's no big deal because I'm going to try and get it really, really cheap. I don't know how yet, so there you go. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to mark some bits and pieces out in just a second, but I did have a couple of questions in the comments, or I did have a comment that was made a bit harshly, but you know, fair enough. I didn't say what it was. Let's talk slug tape, and let's talk a little bit more about the meter. So I'm going to transfer you over to a desk cam. There you go, and so that we can see everything. Right, now this is slug tape. And what is slug tape? It is copper that you can solder to if you want to, with a self-adhesive back, and it just sticks on stuff, you know, so you can stick it on whatever you want. And it's used in gardens. You get it from a garden centre, potentially, and you put it around the edge of, say, bedding plants, you know, on the pots and stuff. And slugs, because of the potential sort of difference between whatever they're crossing, when they get on this, they don't like the sensation that there might be a little bit of electricity stored in it. So yeah, and as soon as they touch it, they just turn around and go back. That is what slug tape is, but us hobbyists, we use it for things like shielding boxes and stuff like that in RF, and I've often used it for cutting it into little squares, and then you can actually use it as almost like a little sort of makeshift sort of Manhattan Island like circuit board sort of assembly or prototyping technique, and you just basically cut little squares like that, and you can stick them on whatever you want, and you can solder sort of bug style off of them, and you can make really fantastic radio receivers doing that. It's an old school way of prototyping that still stands the test of time today. Fabulous, good fun. It's a good fun project if you've got a box of old junk components and you want to build something interesting. The other thing that was mentioned was they didn't know what this was. Right, okay, so LCR meter is essentially, it's a meter that will give you the values of an inductor, of a capacitor and a resistor. Okay, it's a 3-in-1 thing. These are cheap, they're not expensive. I think, you know, in the scheme of things, sort of something like this is not going to set you back a huge amount of money, but it's absolutely invaluable when you're doing things like this. It may not be 100% accurate because obviously there are lots of variables. Like, if you know, yesterday when I was measuring my capacitor, you know, there's you know, my hands are near it and there are electrical things near it and stuff like that, it will give you a guide to what's going on, but it may not be 100%. But it doesn't matter, okay? You know, that's all they are. These are nothing special. And the comment that was made was, this must be for people that know what they're doing. Well, the answer to that is you don't have to know what you're doing, really. This is what it's all about, it's just learning. And my point to making these particular videos was to try and show you that you don't have to spend a complete ton of money, and there are some options should you want to put a receive antenna. That's basically what it's going to end up being. With the capability of TX, I don't think it will take a lot of power, and I don't know how efficient it will be. It may not work, but it will get you 1 or 2 contacts, which is more than you had if you can't put one up. That is my point. But the idea that this is just for people that know what they're doing, or you know, is complete baloney. It really, you can do this yourself. Like I said before, if you're not used to anything like using tools, then please take great care, especially now with all this lockdown malarkey and hospitals being stressed. So, you know, you don't want to be cutting yourself. Please take every precaution possible. You know, don't injure yourself. So back to the build. I'll flip you over to the other camera. Right, okay, so what I've done here, let me get all this junk out of the way, is I've taken some tape, you can see here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I've marked out basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Okay, now this is the end of the tube. Okay, so imagine, if you will, this is the end of our one of our spars. Okay, I'm lining that one. This is the end. Right, okay, and what I'm doing, I've marked the tape out because I'm using the tape to go across all of them, otherwise it gets very boring trying to mark each one of these out. Now what I've done here is I've come in at 30, okay, and each time I'm using the end as a datum. And if you remember one of the videos before, I spoke about datums, and that's kind of what this is. We're always measuring from the end. Okay, now I did make some little notes here, bear with. Let me get my little book. Yeah, okay, so I'm measuring from the end, and what I've taken is 30, 90, 150, 210 and 250. So each time I'm measuring from this end point. Okay, so I've gone 30, 90, and then it was 150, then it was another 60, so 210, and then the last one, this is where the induction loop is going to be, or the actual driven or the driving loop, and that one was at 250, sorry. So 250. So basically all of these, that one there is a 30mm gap, but this is a 60mm gap. This is a 60mm gap. That is a 60mm gap, and this last one is 40, because this is the hole where the nylon rope will go that holds the inner triangle. Okay, so I hope that's clear. If there isn't and you've got questions, you know, by all means ask in the description below. I'll try and answer it in the following part of the video if I can. So this is going to be a bit of a difficult bit to film, because I'm going to have to go over to the drill press in a second, but I'll show you how I mark this out. Now the hardest bit about this is, if you imagine this tube being a lot longer, okay, you've got to get a line, okay, in the same point all the way down to sort of like this side, and those two have got to line up. You can't have that line being there and then that line being there, because when you drill the holes through, they'll be on the skew. You don't want that. Okay, so what I tend to do is, it's a bit difficult, but you can do it, and I've got the knack now. I can actually scribe a line, okay, basically with freehand, using my fingers as a guide. I don't know if you can see that. You can't really see it, it's very faint. Let me try and make it a bit bolder, bear with, let me see if I've got a softer pencil. Nope, no softer pencil. Oh, I have. Try that one. So let's try that. I'm going to fluff it up now, aren't I? Because my hands are in the way. It's much easier doing it with a longer piece, actually, believe it or not. There you go. Sorry, I've hit my hand. Right, okay, so we should be able to see that now. So there you go. Can you see that? So I've drawn a line all the way up the tube. Now, bearing in mind, this is going to be sort of like getting on for 1200 or so long. This bit, and you know, so it is quite long. And what I found was, rather than try and move your hand down, you get it down so far, but then once you get down halfway, then push the tube up. Okay, because obviously your hand, you're trying to run your hand down, it doesn't work. Anyway, so there you go. Right, so once you've done that, okay, now I've marked out another piece of tape here. Okay, and here he is. And what I'm trying to do is take a bit of stick off of it as well. And you'll see here, this is a 20mm tube, and I've used our friend Pi, and you know, those that know me do know I like a Pi. They are, so this is 20mm times pi, okay, will give you this dimension, which is about 63mm, okay, in this particular case. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to get it so you can see it. And I've just put 2 lines. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, once you've got your datum sort of centre line down one tube, I can then take this bit of tape. Actually, no, I've done this a bit wrong. What we're going to do is we're going to put another line in there. We need a centre. So let me use a sharp pencil. So that's going to be about 17.5, give or take. So let's put that in there. So 17.5. And no, sorry, I lie. So 30, it's going to be 31.5. I had a bit of a brain fart. My apologies. Right, so what you do is you now stick that bit of tape lining one of the lines up with it, okay? When you rotate it round, you've now got your second line. Now the reason why, and then I'm going to rip that off because you don't need it completely all the way, all the length, you don't need it. Okay, now why I've done that is because if you've got some sophisticated sort of drilling equipment, like V blocks and all sorts of things with you know, some form of way, you know, some way of marking it so you know which way's up and which way's down, then great, you can go through. And if you know what you're doing, you know, you can probably do it freehand. I mean, I probably would do it freehand normally, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to drill through each side, and that makes more sense because it means the holes are more likely to line up if you've got limited kit to kind of do it. And it does get easier with kit. I know you don't need kit to do stuff. It's down to sort of skill and experience and stuff. But for those of you that this is new to, you know, you just drill. If you drill from both sides, it just 9 times out of 10 it will line up. Just use the methods I've shown you here. Okay, so what we're going to do is, now I've got this. Okay, I will take this bit of my pencil. Okay, and I will put my line in like so. Now what I've got is I've got a line that side, and if I turn it 180 degrees, I've got a line that side. Okay, so once I've got those, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bit of tape here, which I prepared earlier. I'm going to line that up with one end, and I'm quite simply going to tap that down like so. Okay, and you can see now there's my bit of tape. It's lined up with the end there, and there's the holes along that one edge like so. I'm then going to take my trusty self-propelled centre dot, mind your ears, okay, and I'm going to take another pencil because what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark those through actually. So we've got those marked onto the tube. And then actually I can get rid of that tape, make things a little clearer, like so. So now, if you can see that, I've now got the marks on the tube. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to start this end because I don't want to rub the marks out. Okay, and I'm quite simply just going to trot along like so. Oh, that one went a bit awry. Little thing about any form of centre dots, okay, only hit them the once. If you hit them twice or 3 times or 4 times, you often see people going bang 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 with centre dots. Don't do that, it's really daft. Okay, what you do is set this correctly, give it one pop, and because if you do it too many times, you can end up with like a machine gun shot across. I often see people doing that, and all you have to do is just lift it. It's not very accurate to do it. Just one sharp tap or just one sharp punch. So if you've got one of these with a little hammer on it and you can grip this down and you're doing it that way, then that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable. However, just don't hit it loads of times. You see tons of times people just whacking the Maloney out of them. That's not the way to do it. And then we're going to turn that round and we're going to do the other side. And now this is, it's a fairly long-winded way of doing it. Like I say, I wouldn't normally do it like this, but I'm trying to cover all bases. For those of you that are more than capable of doing this, you can do it however you see fit. Okay, I'm not going to... And in fact, actually, it would be, if you want to leave comments again, let me know how you did it. That would be really interesting. But this is just so that I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for everyone to get a good result. Okay. So there you go. But you don't have to drill these holes if you don't want to. What you can do is you can actually just tape, or you can actually just use cable ties to locate the wire. You don't have to do it. I'm doing it because I think it just would make a nicer job. So there you go. It's probably driving the microphone mad. Well, apologies if it's really loud. Right, okay, so once we've done that, we can take it over to the drill press. Now I'm going to show you this. I'm going to drill this one for you because I could drill the longer ones, but it is a bit of a faff to do. Obviously they're quite long. Yeah, I'll drill this one for you, show you how to do it on that one. So I'm going to quickly whip my mobile phone out and go over to the drill press. Bear with. Okay, so what I've got here is a really antique drill press. So let me try and expand that up a little bit. And what I've got in here is just a basic rechargeable drill. Problem is with modern rechargeable drills is they don't have locking triggers. Not a big problem because I'm just going to use some Velcro tape to hold the button closed, and then I can go. I've got here is a V-block. Now this is actually quite a good one. Again, most of the stuff I buy from basically engineering sort of like auction places really, and sometimes you can go in there and pick up lots of things really cheap. Like I said before, I was in engineering for a long time, and all of this stuff I've picked up over the years. This is an antique drill press. It's probably, I don't know how old this is. It's got to be probably 70 years old, I would have said, at the very least. And yeah, I mean, there is actually a stamp on there somewhere, like a little label. But I paid, I don't know, whatever it was from a car boot sale. It was broken. It did have something broken up the top, which I welded back on and basically refurbed it. And I've had it in, as you see it now, in red primer for possibly 25 years. But anyway, there you go. So all I'm saying is you can pick up a lot of this stuff. I was just chatting to people on Discord regards things like soldering irons. You don't have to spend a ton of money on them. Pick them up really cheap, and patience is the key for certain. So right, what I'm going to do is going to start this up, so mind your ears. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is just zoom you in a little bit. Okay, just locate the little pin. Be careful with plastic, it can be a bit snatchy. Often we'll dull down a drill to do this. Or use a pin drill, that's another one. Right. Okay, I'm just going to do the other side. Just locate the pin, the spot, the punch that you made, or the punch hole. And there you go. You're nearly done. I'm using a 4mm drill here. Okay, so there you go. Holes. It is that simple, and you'll see that they're pretty well lined up. They may not be absolutely perfect, but they're pretty good. All right, that's how you do the ends. You've got to do this 4 times. So there you go, that's that bit done. So let's move back and have a look now at, what should we have a look at now? Well, we're going to put it together. We've drilled our imaginary long rod, and here are the actual ones that I've been drilling. I did that one just to show you, but now we drilled the rods in their entirety. Now we need to put them together. So the fun starts now. I'm worried that I haven't got enough cable, but that's neither here nor there. Right, now then, what we're going to do now is we're going to use Satan's inventions, the pop rivet gun, and I've got here, it's a 5mm, 10mm long countersunk pop rivet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sink that rivet between those 2 parts to make up a central thing. Ideally what I could do with is a washer. I don't think I've got any washers, so I'm going to probably leave it out and hopefully it will stay in there. Bear with, I'll be right back. Okay, so I didn't find any washers. Bummer. That's okay. So what I've gone with, I would like to have used a countersunk one, but that one's not quite long enough. So what I've done is I found it's a white rivet. That one's 16mm long, and it's not countersunk. Not ideal, but hopefully it'll work. But then I'm not sure if I introduced you to Satan's pliers. I absolutely detest pop rivet guns. They're horrible things. I'm probably responsible for any arthritis I have in my hand. Right, now then, and let's go over to camera 1 and let's put it together. So I've undone those, and yeah, that looks all right. I'm going to pop that in there like so. I'm going to try and centre that up. You can see that this is a bit fiddly, but hey ho. And then I'm going to take Mr. Pop Rivet Gun, pop him in there like so, and start to squeeze the bejesus out of it. Okay, trying to keep everything nice and central. Go. Trying to keep everything nice and tight. see what I mean about these being Satan's pliers. I find it's best not to take a big bite, and you want to be careful because it will fly off. Flipping heck. 5mm rivets are absolute devils. All I can say. Look, messy hands. Might have to go and wash them in a sec. But that has kind of got it. I'm pleased with that. Now I'm going to go and wash my hands. Bear with. Okay, I'm back. Hands washed. So we've got that bit, and now we're going to start the sort of assembly process. And what I'm going to do is going to somehow try and squeeze this in here. Let me see if I can put that down a little bit so you can sort of see what I'm doing. Enough for you. So let me get rid of some of this stuff. This is the worst bit about doing it in a bit of a confined space, unfortunately. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get it in somewhere around there for you. I'm going to put him over there like so, and I'm going to fix that to that. Now I'm kind of fumbling a little bit with it, but that's alright. Trying to keep my hand out of the way of the camera, you see, that's what it is. So there's one. Will it pick that up? No. And there's part one, and that is going to be the centre part to the next end antenna. So the other one will obviously go through like so, and that will give us the cross. Right, so I'm just going to finish drilling the second one, and hopefully the next shot you'll see is the wire going through. Now I'm not going to video the whole wire thing going through. I might do a couple of bits of it. Number one, it'll probably be very boring, but secondly, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get it done in this one particular video because I'm not sure I've got enough wire. So let me tilt you back up. Yeah, I'm not sure I've got enough wire. I've got a big reel of it here. This is all I've got. Now this was a kind of an off-cut that I had laying around, and this is, yeah, it's basically, this is M&P Dipo Flex, or sorry, Dipo, yeah, something like Dipo Flex or something like that. It's really good stuff. It's really heavy duty sort of thing, but again, like I say, you don't have to go out and get sort of stuff like this. And let's say this was just an off-cut that I was hoping I could use. Anyway, right, I think that's going to pretty much do for this one. I'm hoping that I'll try and get some more footage in of the whole thing going together. I'm going to get this other piece drilled now, and I'll get the cross part actually done. So yeah, so let's try and get that bit done, and then I'll wrap the video up.